So about 3 hours ago, I was pickpocketed, and I lost equivalent to 400 Canadian dollars, a little over 400 Canadian dollars. Basically 250 euros is how much I lost. They were not able to get my wallet, which was in a separate pocket, my front pocket. That contains my credit cards, driver's license, social security number, everything like that. And they were not able to take my passport, which is one of the most important things. Otherwise, I would really, really be fucked. However, they were able to get into my bag and steal an envelope. That envelope contained all the cash that I carry. So I'm gonna have to pick up some more cash today, just withdraw it out of a credit card. But I'll show you how things happened. So you might have seen this before in some of my previous videos. This is a travel sling that I use when I'm traveling. And it's specifically built for anti-theft. So this travel sling, this goes around the neck. It's a cross-body travel sling. It has a steel cord inside here. It's actually quite uncomfortable, but it's not easy to be cut. The compartments, the bag itself, the compartments, the front here does not have an anti-theft feature. There's a side pocket here as well with a zipper. That does not have an anti-theft feature. The main pocket here is an anti-theft feature, and I have modified it in a way. So the zipper closes everything together, and it clasps. It's a two-handed operation. It clasps onto here, and I actually lock both compartments together. I lock this compartment with this compartment using this clasp and a little ring that I put on. So it's actually quite difficult to do this under normal circumstances. I'll explain how this person was able to get in. And then on the inside, this is how skilled they are. I really underestimated them, and like I said, I was very complacent. There's this pocket in here, which also requires releasing with a zipper to get in. And inside this compartment is where I kept my passport. And in an envelope, I had 400 Canadian, well, I had 250 euros in an envelope. And the first thing I checked was my passport. And this occurred during peak hours, is around 6:30 in the morning. I was on my way to St. Peter's Basilica. And I was leaving Termini, so I was on the Metro A line. All of that doesn't matter. It was really, really busy. It was so packed. It felt like Tokyo, like everybody was crammed, and I was crammed up to the guy beside me, middle-aged man. Well, no, maybe a little bit older than middle-aged, really. And kind of chubby, doesn't matter. I wish I took a picture of him. I wish I actually knocked his ass out. But it happened so quickly. I was just too excited to visit the last remaining holy door. I wasn't vigilant, I wasn't alert. So I have no one to blame really but myself. I'm not, I wouldn't say it's not my fault. This person chose to be a thief, but I also chose to be inattentive. I chose not to be cautious. I chose not to be alert of my surroundings, which is very rare. But again, I've been looking forward to this trip, and this is not an excuse. I'm here for the pilgrimage. But anyways, yeah, he was able to. What he did was, instead of taking the time to unzip, because of everything that there is here, instead of going through the hassle of attempting to discreetly unzip this zipper and flap open the pocket, he actually broke this zipper. He was able to break in. That part I'm really not quite sure how he did, because it's a robust zipper, and I had it all locked in. But when I looked down, the flap was open. This occurred. He was able to do this in less than 10 seconds. Like, if he had this kind of skill, and like, why doesn't he get into construction? Well, or something that could use that kind of dexterity. Well, I guess he just lacks morals, just like I lacked attentiveness today. So yeah, that cost me 400 Canadian dollars. I'm upset about it, but there's nothing really I could do. So getting back to that, yeah, he literally broke the zipper. He broke the zipper. This flap was completely open, and at the same time, he was able to open up this compartment because I had everything inside here. I had basically inside this main compartment. In here, I had my GoPro. So I had my GoPro bag. In here I had some more GoPro accessories, but this compartment here, which was the safest compartment, most secure compartment, was my passport, which was right beside that envelope. And thankfully, like I said, he didn't touch my passport, but he took the envelope of money. And my wallet here, this titanium wallet that I have with me with all my important bank cards and some Canadian cash and things like that. These are my trousers. I keep this in my front pocket, which is zipped up. So I'd keep that in there, and I zip it back up. And I keep my cell phone in the other pocket, front leg pocket, and I keep that zipped up. So also, one thing that looking back that I noticed, this person was carrying a bag, and they used that bag as a means of concealment, and they strike right before the door closes. So they'll strike and then leave the train right away. So there's a high probability that they're going to be able to get away without being attacked or that sort of thing. Yeah, like I said, I'm quite upset at myself for not being as cautious as I normally would be, but and I do blame myself, really. I blame myself for the results. I take ownership of what happened, and it's very crazy to think, because throughout this whole trip and even before, I've been thinking about pickpockets and how I've been fortunate to have traveled to so many places in Europe where pickpockets are almost a pandemic, and I never been a victim to one, but I am now. So yeah, my recommendations, and anybody who sees me knows that I stand out. I'm 185 centimeters tall, 92 kilos with an athletic build, and that's basically, I'm 6'1", 200 pounds. And if somebody saw me, and they would generally consider or reconsider trying to do anything that would upset me. Otherwise, they know that they would think that at least I'm going to do something to them that may permanently alter the course of their life. I'll leave it at that. And I am willing to. Now, looking at the unfortunate event of this morning, my recommendation is, if you can, avoid using the metro during peak hours. And this isn't just for Rome, this is for any other city with lots of pickpockets, a lot of European cities with pickpockets. Whether it's the metro, the tram line, anything like that, the Hauptbahnhof, wherever. Avoid during peak hours. Uh, Try to sit down if you can. A lot of times that's not possible, so you will be standing up. When you're carrying your travel sling or bag or whatever, keep your hand on top of it like this. That way you can feel if somebody's trying to fuck around and open up your stuff. I've been quite vigilant that I keep my phone and my wallet in the two front leg pockets here. So I would be able to feel if somebody was touching my leg. But I wasn't vigilant about putting my hand over my bag here, because this left hand was actually holding a grab bar to stabilize myself. So that's basically how that occurred. So keep your hand directly on your bag. If at all possible, avoid the trams during peak hours. Try to stay away from the doors. And I really did consider taking the next few stops, but it would have been just as packed for the next half an hour to 45 minutes on Metro Line A here in Rome. And I really didn't want to be stuck in the security lineup to get through to St. Peter's Basilica. So I took that chance, and yeah, it cost me $400. But speaking of that, check out my video on St. Peter's Basilica where I walk through the holy doors. It's a great video. It cost me $400. But yeah, that's basically what happened. I looked down right after we started moving again, and this flap was completely open. This was completely open. And yeah, he made away with my money.
Thank you for sharing in my experience. If you enjoyed my video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would truly appreciate you sharing my video on your social network, as it helps my channel grow. Be sure to check my playlist to see different categories on my exciting adventures I'm sharing with the world. Life is an adventure. Let's share this experience together.